I will pull up the agenda. Welcome back, everybody. Feels like just yesterday. Miss Jay, I will kick this off to you. I think we have 2 meetings worth of meeting minutes to approve. Then we were going to do an intro, but he doesn't seem to be here. Check online again. And then we're kind of just going to dive right into the IRC presentations. Most, if not all, of today will be Janet presenting the significant changes and some of our current amendments. And then I think we have at least we have 3 scheduled meetings after this then to discuss potential amendments on your guys' side and get any ordinance put together that we need to. So I would say ask questions as she goes through it. Not that she won't tell you that, but we won't spend an absorbent amount of time, I don't believe, discussing potential amendments today. This is kind of an info dump, and then we'll get into the back and forth of it in the next 6 weeks. Meeting minutes, we got to go back.
We're gonna call the meeting in order.
Oh, that's.
Sorry, I can't turn it.
Right.
No, that's all right.
Call to order. Let's do a roll call.
Oh, hey, Mike.
Move.
I'll start. Matt Schmidt, Deputy Code Official, City of Lawrence.
Brian Jimenez, Assistant Director, PDS.
Janet Smelter, Plans Examiner.
Mike Brunin, Structural Board Member. Mike Myers, Hernley Associates.
Kevin Hoppy, plumbing.
Adrian Jones, Member at Large.
Warren Whitefire.
Ellie Zell, Class B.
And Sarah Jane Scott, Mechanical. So has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes for November's meeting?
We have JJ on as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep, loud and clear, JJ.
Yes.
So we have 8 members in attendance, 7 in person, 1 online. So we have the quorum of 6 required to proceed. Can you hear us, JJ?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. Okay, sorry, SJ.
Okay, did everybody get a chance to see the minutes from November? They're online, probably just the meeting recorded. And then also, we didn't have those last month, so we also have December this month. Any objections to the minutes?
Is this summary right here, Matt?
This is November. Yeah. There's 2 meetings worth of minutes to review and approve, so this is the first one.
Going back a ways, if you recall, we did those several ordinance approvals. Actually,
Cleaning
those
up
are the
demo, and then we went through
Yeah.
plumbing, mechanical, fuel, and gas. Yeah.
We just did demolition. We did the other ones previous, so we came back with some edits to the
Yep.
demolition of structures that you guys wanted us to.
You need to approve those separately.
Yeah, this is the first one, and then we'll
This
do
is
the
the
next
next
one.
We want to approve it first.
Yeah.
Motion,
Motion move.
Warren,
I'll second.
second by Adrian. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
What was JJ's response?
Aye.
Okay.
There we go. And then this is December 9th. So then this was adopting plumbing. We adopted mechanical. We adopted fuel and gas.
Here we gave you a quick overview summary of the accessibility.
With no proposed amendments.
We didn't adopt it.
We approved it.
Okay.
Yep, we did.
Okay.
Yep. So this is the follow-up with plumbing, mechanical, fuel, and gas, sorry. And then we reviewed and adopted accessibility. Sorry, flip around.
Those are the reference
Plumbing.
standards in the code. It's referenced in the standards, reference standards, Adrian.
And that was all.
I'll move to approve.
So
In a second. All in favor?
Aye.
JJ,
Yep, I said aye.
any opposed? And that also passes.
Excellent. First, before we get into IRC, was to give Mr. Myers a chance to introduce himself for those who don't know him. Mike?
Hi, everybody. Mike Myers, Hurley Associates. I've been working in town here since, I don't know, it's going on 30 years now. I guess I've been licensed architect since 2007. Been sort of working through several versions of code through the years. Every time I open the book, I learn something new. So I don't expect that I know everything. I've seen a little bit of it, but so just interested in the process, and hopefully I can help and maybe learn some stuff in the process. So
Yeah, thanks for joining, Mike. I know you're
Certainly.
doing a slot, so. Okay.
Welcome aboard.
thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Buckle up. Yeah. Miss Janet, if you're ready, Janet Smalter, for those who don't know her, registered architect, well, and our residential examiner, among other things. Right into the presentation.
Yep, if
Okay.
you'll hand me the mouse.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So you may have attended or may not, the Lawrence Home Builders Association. We presented a class to them and went over the changes of the IRC, the IBC, the IMC, the IPC,
Correct.
several other codes. And put together this PowerPoint presentation on the changes of the 2021 and 2024 codes. And so it was based on these two books that I think you all were given or have access to. Yeah, if you requested. So
Can we get rid of all the header stuff up there?
I'm not sure how you do
I think
that.
she can enter like presentation.
Well, if you.
Go to view, Janet.
View.
Try one of those modes on the left there. Outline that sort of reading view.
There we go.
Oh.
Excellent. Okay. And so basically I've gone through these books as well as the big heavy books that you're seeing below me and carefully read everything. And what I've done here is basically picked up what I feel are the significant changes in the books, and we'll go through that here now, and I'll explain what I have not reviewed and brought up in this class or in this presentation that we're about to do. So part one is the administration, and it's basically definitions and administrative stuff that we basically take out, and what's the terminology that I want to use, that we amend out of this, and then we do our own interpretation or
Additions.
additions to, yeah, which we'll bring up later in our review of. So the first part was this is a change of use and additions and alterations. And basically it's the code references the international existing building code only when alterations or a change of use outside of the scope of the IRC. A lot of times we get plans and people reference to the IEBC, and that is an incorrect interpretation. They're supposed to actually use this appendix, the existing buildings and structures, for any work that they do that when they're using the IRC. So if they have an existing residential structure, they should use this appendix, and we will amend that into our codes. You're getting waved. So this is something that we will amend in, is this existing buildings and structures code. And this is nice that they have provided this in the additions, alterations, changes, use and repairs, because it's never been in there before. And I can now reference this when I'm doing plan review, so. Another definition, and they've tried to, seems like every year, every code version, they do a different definition of emergency escape and rescue openings. This is their next attempt at that. And then grade floor emergency escape and rescue openings. What they're trying to say is just that the opening should start at the glazing. It's 44 inches. Bottom of the clear opening is where it starts, and ends at the grade for grade floor opening, and from the grade to the opening again for that 44 inches when you're doing grade floor emergency escape and rescue openings.
So they don't use that windowsill.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Townhouse definitions, this is a significant when we go later on in the review. They are now saying a building. They break down to building, a townhouse, and a townhouse unit. So the building is a structure of a one or two family dwelling or townhouse, and it includes also accessory structures. Then they say a townhouse, which is a building that contains three or more townhouse units, and then a townhouse unit is a single dwelling. Whoops, I'm so sorry. A single dwelling. And we'll see why they use that later on in this review. Then the next thing is an addition that I'm proposing that we put in for the city. This is a City of Lawrence definition. I do want to take out the word duplex. No longer do we need this word. This is an antiquated word, not to be used anymore. The ICC codes use two family dwellings as the definition. You do not see the word duplex in any ICC codes. Two family dwellings are used. And then, obviously a dwelling is any building that contains one or two dwellings units that are designed to be built, used, rented, leased, or let out or hired to be occupied. The City of Lawrence Land Development Code now defines that type of structure to be a two-unit dwelling. They refuse to use two-family dwelling. I begged them to use that, and they would not do it. They use two-unit dwellings. So no longer will we use this terminology in any reviews that we do. The planning department will use two-unit dwellings, and I will use two-family dwellings. Definition of a rain screen system is not what you think of as a rain screen. It's a rain screen system is that area of airspace behind the cladding. Registered design professional is again another thing that I want to add into amend into the code, because this is something it's actually in the code, this definition, but it's a term that I commonly use in my reviews when I ask for a design professional. I want it to be very clear. In this class, everybody thought that I was going to start asking for all plans to be stamped by a registered design professional. That is not true. I will ask for it. When I ask for it, this is the definition of what a registered design professional is. It's somebody that has legal qualifications such as an engineer or architect.
So what is the confusion, Janet? Do you ask for a design professional sometime and other times you ask for a registered
Design professional, correct. Yeah.
And why would you ask for a design professional as opposed to a registered?
Oh, just somebody that knows what they're doing, knows how to draw a set of plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't hand it to me on the napkin.
No net. Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly what it says.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But when I mean a registered
Maybe, yeah.
design professional, I mean somebody like me, that
We'll
has
put
a
your photo
license.
in
Yeah,
there.
right. Yeah.
If there were what were the questions and the objections if they were saying all plans have to have that? And you're saying all plans don't have to have
All plans do not require registered design professional.
so is it if they differ from the code that they need a design professional?
Exactly, right. If they're designed outside of the prescriptive code, if I cannot look up and verify that it meets the code requirements in the book, then, say they design a beam that I cannot verify by reading the code book, then I would ask for a registered professional to provide stamp plans on it, yeah.
And then also you have to meet the minimum standards of the state.
Yeah.
So if the state says you need a registered design professional, the city can't override that.
Right.
Right.
So other than specifically in residential, are there state statutes that require a design professional, a registered design professional for specific things by state statute in the residential code?
Yes, definitely. I mean, if they're designing outside of the prescriptive code, so if they're doing something that is unusually designed, right? Then yes, I wouldn't, if I cannot sit there and verify by myself that this meets the code, then yes, a registered design professional is required. And so, an engineer is required when it's steel construction. Help me out here, Mike.
Laminated engineer beams are not in the code book,
Yeah,
so that was
exactly.
one.
So when it becomes questionable architecture, that's when I sit there and go, it's got to be verified. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other conditions when, when the soils are not, there's a lot of properties in Fall Creek where the soils do not meet, they're unstable soils and they're going to have to be engineered. That's another time when we ask for registered design professionals. So, yeah.
Is there a requirement ever that someone that's there? I think there's confusion. I had a person that was confused about registered design professional versus a request for a design professional potentially.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I get a lot of scratchy pieces of paper, and I ask for them to provide me with something that is, more of a construction document, and they send back more scratchy pieces of paper, and I really just say that's enough.
if you don't think they're ever going to
Yeah.
get there,
If
they
you
need a
cannot
design
demonstrate
professional,
code compliance to me, that's enough. You got to get somebody that can.
a design professional or a registered design
Right.
professional in order to communicate what
Yeah.
needs to be communicated. That makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yep.
But in the case of, let's say, an I-beam.
Yeah.
So let's say, I show an I-beam on a plan and I give you the Forte web calculations for that beam
Right.
and everything. like
Right.
That would be okay.
That's okay. Yep.
Because I-beams are actually in the code.
Yeah.
They are. There's a table stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there's a table. I think there's a table there.
I-
Think?
No,
No.
there's not an I-beam table.
Oh.
I mean, not that I can verify.
Okay.
with.
Even LVLs don't even have it.
Those load
Laura's
calculations,
trying to get online.
good with it.
Oh, do I need to let her in maybe?
Okay.
So are we doing a meeting? She's trying to get online.
Maybe I'm
Behave in my house real quick, Shane.
Let me see.
I messaged her the Zoom link. She was trying to join via Teams.
Ah, okay. Thank you, Denny.
Mm-hmm.
Just checking to see if she's in. Not yet. I guess, so Denny, if you're speaking with her, I'll let Janet continue if you can help her get connected.
Okay, I'll
that
message
make
her
sense?
again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Laura's trying to. Besides Janet?
Get in.
Laura's trying to dial.
So this is the end of part one. What I have in bold here are the things that we did go over, and these are the things that are not in bold are still in this, that are significant changes that if you want to look up and study, please be my guest. And do so on your own time.
Okay, all right. I never heard the term code compliant agency.
That is what they want us to start calling Building Safety Division. Code Compliance Agency. They want us to change our name to Code Compliance Agency.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna save some branding money instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So part two is building planning, and we will go through that now. And basically, for whatever reason, they decided to reorganize all sections of chapter 3, and I can only imagine sitting through that that meeting and how long it must have taken for them to agree on the reorganization of this section. So that's what they've done here. The local amendments is this table of climatic and geographic design criteria. And basically, it's about the snow loads, the wind design, seismic design category, all this stuff that you're seeing up here. And then the manual J design criteria. And all this stuff will be amended to what the charts and tables all say to date. And I will change all that, and that will be something that we discuss when we do the final amendments. Nothing's really changed of significance here. I think they dropped this down to either 114 or 110. I can't remember. Yeah, the snow loads have not changed. Nothing else I can think of along here. We'll stay with the same frost line depth. Nothing else that I.
So on the winter design temperature.
Yeah.
Now that we've moved significantly from 10, is that?
If she can call me and go on speakerphone if she can't get logged in.
J still saying 10, but the design temperature is now 4.
Well, I've always gone with the ASHRAE design temperatures, and I will get that verified with whatever.
Yeah.
The thing says
They
there.
must have been, I mean, less 20 years updated.
Yeah,
But it looks like somebody's gone to a 4 for our area winter design. I think that used to be like an 8 or 9.
yeah, I will have to verify it with the book and whatever it's. So, yeah,
But that's our amendment as written in the code right now, correct?
Yeah.
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 It should be 10 and 95, I
Yeah,
believe.
10 and 95 is
Yeah.
the manual J
Yeah.
criteria,
Yeah.
but then it says the winter design is 5 degrees is significantly lower.
So you're saying it should be what?
Well, the manual J should match whatever the actual winter design for our home zone
Okay.
is.
10 verse 4.
So the winter design is,
What is the winter design?
well, right now we use 10 and 95 and we have a really low.
No, I mean, that's the manual J, but what is the winter design temperature up above mean? It's something completely different, isn't it?
Well, I think it's like, just like the
Well, there's a
design.
footnote on it, and we'll have to just check that footnote and get the. Yeah,
Like, note of that.
Yes.
You'll need the book and
Just
a
like the mean temperature,
You don't need it, Jan.
just like the wind.
24 though.
that's 24, and then, yeah, I just have 24.
You want 18.
So, yeah. Oops, sorry about that.
And that's gonna get more important when we get to chapter 11.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll make sure that we verify all this and that it's correct with the current code for 24. Okay, so intermodal shipping containers are an addition that were put in 2021. And it basically says that anything that it's also in the IBC as well. It requires an engineered design for the use of these containers. We've had quite a few applications with these intermodals. One was with the Studio 804 has done a project for using these containers. They had quite a bit of difficulty making them code compliant and energy compliant, but they were successful. I don't think they'd ever do it again.
It costs more than just.
Yeah, but we've had a couple other people approach us with it, but turn around and said, nah, maybe not, so I don't know how many projects we'll see with it, but they're now in the code. And basically size is just, it's challenging to make them useful because the openings are limited and there's just a lot that has to be done to make them energy compliant, so. Exterior walls, this is gonna be one that we're going to be challenged on, and I think this will be one of the things that we'll have to look at and discuss further. This is a change that has been needed and has been intended since 2018 codes, as far as I can tell. What they want us to do is, in the intent of the code is to say that there is an imaginary lot line on all townhouses and two-family dwellings. And that in those imaginary lines extend all the way to the property lines. And that you have to fire rate the structure all the way to the property line. So any extensions, projections, openings have to be fire rated along those lines. So what I'm trying to say here is we'll go to the next.
Decks.
Yeah. Everything. So overhangs, balconies, two-story decks, et cetera, have to be fire protected.
Are they asking for structural independence at this point for a family dwelling?
Yeah, they are.
Because they haven't in the past,
They haven't in the past, and that's what I need to study a little bit further. And on the two-family dwelling, is what I'm looking at, and what we've been talking about in the last couple of days is we've seen a couple of applications come in where it was a two-family dwelling, and then they did a lot split while the permit is still still open. They're under construction right now. And we're sitting there going, whoa, wait a minute, this is a two-family dwelling, and they fortunately did a 2-hour firewall on the two-family dwelling because I put a note in saying, hey, if you're going to do a lot split on this house, make sure you do a 2-hour wall, which they fortunately did do. But did they do it correctly? The inspectors are out there now looking at it, and they did not. They've got some penetrations in that common wall, that 2-hour common wall, that have to be corrected. So the contemplation now is, all along we've had people for the last how many years? 20
years.
20, 30 years, people have built 1-hour two-family dwellings with 1-hour walls, and then they go back and do a lot split on it, and they're actually it's not a 2-hour wall, which is what's required when you lot split a property like that. And maybe we should sit there and say, maybe we as a board have the responsibility to sit there and say, you need to have a 2-hour wall on all two-family dwellings.
I find that two-family dwellings can be vertically separate, horizontally separated.
Yes.
There's no way to do structural independence when they're stacked.
Well, the code now requires you to have that this structural supports the structural, everything that supports that has to be also rated.
Rated, but not independent structurally.
Right. It does have to be independently structural, though, really, in a way,
You can't hold something up with the walls of one thing.
Well, it has to be the same rating as what you're separating it with. If you're separating it with a 1-hour separation, the supporting structure has to be 1 hour.
So Janet, going back to real quick what you said about looking at making a requirement, that would be a text amendment that would require 2-hour fire separation.
Right, on a two-family.
For those properties that do a lot split after the fact, after the building permit's long closed, it might be 5, 6, 7 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
That's becoming more popular. Yeah.
And just to add in there, the main issue has been is when they go in here, prior to having that 1-hour wall extend up through the attic, fires, we've had a number of fires, and it's a townhome, but the fire races right through the attic. And catches the other person's house on fire.
Yeah.
So, and that's what kind of started all of this.
But isn't this what this is saying that if you have a two-family dwelling, you only need a 1 hour fire separation?
You only need a 1 hour right now. Yes, exactly. But
But
what we're,
split or not, isn't that what this is saying? Whether they're owned by the same person or two different people?
what they're saying now is that they want us to now fully separate two-family dwellings and townhouses. Need to be fully
Have
separate.
they taken out the section on draft stops in lieu of separation in the attic then?
I don't know the answer to that yet. I don't know fully the answer to that because I haven't studied it carefully enough, so I'll have to come back to you. But they are saying it on, let's see what they're saying.
I'm getting to the point where it sounds like we're talking about a really not a whole lot of difference between a two-family dwelling and a townhouse. And I think there is an intent to be a difference, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. It looks like they are requiring fully extended to the exterior walls, roof, or foundation for complete continuity. So yeah, I don't think you can do the draft stop.
There hasn't been an exception, at least in 2021. Maybe that's changed.
Yes.
Have to. You just have a draft stop in the attic.
But there it specifically says roof.
Yep. Yep.
That would have to be a barrier wall between
That's
the two
very
roofs.
well, fully extended.
That's why I was saying that's almost a block wall. I mean,
There has been beyond that, there's always been an exception if they haven't, I don't know if they've taken it out, but I mean, that was,
No, it's still in there.
Well, if we're looking at 302.3, which we are,
Yeah,
under the significant changes, I got the right book, yeah.
you have 2024, right?
Dwelling units and two-family dwellings shall be separated from each other in accordance with sections 302.3.1, 302.3 through 302.3.5, regardless of whether a lot line exists between the two dwelling units.
Right.
Right.
So it's 1 hour regardless whether there's a lot line between or not.
So what happens when they're,
Why?
well, when you go in after the fact and make them in the town? Yeah, I know, but that's the issue.
That's no issue. It's a great deal. No matter now in the future, whatever, whether there's a lot line between the two units of the two-family dwelling, it's still just 1 hour.
Right, but it's
I don't understand what the issue.
because it requires a 2 hour separation for it if there's a lot line between them.
No, it says whether there's a lot line or not.
We probably need to dive into this a little bit more. I mean, I see Neil's point. It says regardless of whether a lot line exists between two dwelling units.
The fire doesn't care whether there's two owners or not. At least last I checked.
And the exceptions have been struck out of that original code section.
So is it a townhome or is it a two-family dwelling?
It's a two-family dwelling. If there's, and it very, very, very carefully.
More.
Three
so-
more, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a two-family dwelling. I guess I see it there. Yeah,
It's only for two-family dwelling.
yeah.
And they do not have to be structurally. I think the new code makes it incredibly clear.
Yeah, because we used to put the 2 hour wall, sheet rock up between them.
Each unit had 1 hour first.
Each one had a 1 hour.
But see, you go to a
So maybe that's a
townhouse,
change.
the way the code is written for a townhouse, you can't do a 2 hour wall in between them.
Do we have the 24
We put that,
commentary in
Neil?
your office?
Cannot do a 2 hour wall between townhouses. You have to sprinkle it, and then it has to be a 1 hour wall. You have to sprinkle townhouse.
Yeah, I think in the past, the issue has come up with
Sprinkle a townhouse.
what is a townhouse by code or is it townhouse by what realtors call it?
What's in the code?
Right.
No, you don't have to sprinkle a townhouse. 2 hour wall.
Almost every place in Johnson County and everywhere. I thought Lawrence too, they require townhouses to be sprinkled.
Well, it varies from city to city, I will tell you. I mean,
Yeah.
and in Lawrence, it's not required. And in others, in Gardner, I think they did make a sprinkle anything that was more than 2 units,
And that's
regardless whether it met a townhouse
Right.
or not.
and that's in line with the state amendment to that about
Yes,
sprinkling.
yes, yes. Yeah.
3 unit.
Yeah, the state, you're not allowed to require sprinklers in single family or two family.
Right.
You can, most people do it. The city of Johnson.
Can't read it at all.
Ever had to. It's the code. I prefer electronic, so easy to search.
You can
So-
have, if it's an automatic sprinkler system in accordance with section P 2904 is provided, the common wall shall be not less than 1 hour. If so, you have to have a 2-hour wall or you have to have a 1-hour wall with a sprinkler.
Yeah, that's in the code, but I'm talking about how it's put in different cities. So most cities, they will not allow you to do a 2-hour wall. You have to do a sprinkler.
Okay, well, this city allows you to do a 2-hour wall.
All right?
You can do a 2-hour wall whenever you want to do a 2-hour. You're not
No, I know.
in exchange for the
Yeah,
sprinkler.
you could do it too.
Yeah, that's the main. That's the
Yeah.
main thing.
Okay,
So it's a 2-hour wall because the state is not requiring sprinklers.
right.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with the state. The state does not, the state will permit you,
We permit 2-hour walls in this town.
but the state will permit you to require sprinklers in townhouses.
Are we talking 2 family units, or are we talking?
Townhouses.
Okay, well, we allow townhouses with 2-hour walls.
Okay.
It sounds like it's a valid topic of discussion for what you're
Yeah,
proposing to adopt.
I think for time considerations,
Move forward, because this can be a big.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can be.
But this is the purpose of the presentation, is to identify things for further discussion. But today is not that day.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Let's.
Okay, so that's stuff that you can study and bring back to the table to
Okay.
discuss further if you want to amend it. Yeah, so 2-family dwellings that are separated horizontally, they have some more information on what's required for them, but it also now, let's see if this is where it talks about there's lots of options for them, but now, it's talking about how you have to have fire rated protection with the supporting walls and et cetera. It also now requires that the smoke and CO2 has to be activated in both units. So if there's a fire, if there's a fire in this unit, it activates smoke and CO2 in this unit as well. So that's a new requirement. Yeah. I'm not sure I'd ever want to live in one of those.
It sounds like.
It's a good idea, yeah.
It's a good idea for life safety. It ain't a good idea for a bad cook.
Yeah.
That's
is-
only on vertically stacked units,
Thing
right?
apparently this is very common in
Was
other,
saying something?
JJ had a question,
Oh.
maybe.
I'm sorry,
That's only on vertically stacked units, not side by side.
Correct.
right,
Correct.
vertically only,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Apparently this has become a very common design thing in other parts of the country, shared accessory units in a 2-family dwelling, and it's for like laundry or storage rooms. And so what the fire protection is similar to, like if this was a garage area, they have, separation is 1/2-inch gypsum board on the walls and ceilings. And doors are the same type of protection. I don't know how this gets regulated as far as the people, how they keep it between themselves as far as ownership, but that's a civil problem, not a code problem. So it's very strange kind of setup, I think, but
I've actually seen
is
that in
allowed.
existing on Ohio Street. I've actually seen that. Don't see it very often. Older building done, nothing new.
Garages now also those garage doors now have to be self-latching in addition to self-closing. That's in a clarification, they apparently in the 2021 codes. They are now allowing clearances to be 6'6" in basements and in on main floors as well, for beams. A distance of 36 inches between the beams. And apparently that's based on door heights, but
It used to be 6'8".
used to be 6'8", 6'6". So. They tried to clear up again the clearance, the distance of openings to windows, and they're just, for some reason, having terrible, making it harder or whatever for people to understand. It's to the opening of the window, not to the opening, the rough opening of the window. So it's 44 inches to the opening of the window itself. Okay. They are no longer calling these areas window wells. They're calling them area wells for emergency escape and rescue openings. And then they give some different information on what's the clearances are in those areas.
Can you go back to that real
Yep.
quick, Janet?
Yep.
Didn't that, does that say 30 inches down there on the bottom picture? Did that used to be 36?
Used to be 36 and now it's 30 inches. Yeah. And then there's discussion on how the schools are to grade are allowed, et cetera.
Is that only when you have steps out? Because I thought on the previous, okay.
I think it was 36 in the previous
It
picture.
was 36, but now it's 30. Yeah. This is all rewritten. This whole section has all been rewritten. Smoke alarm installation is now based on the manufacturer's instructions. And it's basically all about interconnection of the smoke alarms, et cetera, et cetera. They just don't, they've kind of given up writing how it's installed in the code. Pretty funny. Smoke alarm locations, still all the same here. In each sleeping room, outside each sleeping area, and et cetera, et cetera. And then they've added some stuff here. And it's basically has to do with the smaller unit designs, this tiny houses, et cetera, is what they've added. But they've also said, you know, in a hallway, and then if the hallway gets taller, then there needs to be a smoke alarm here. And then they're talking about smoke alarms adjoining sleeping lofts and smoke alarms near cooking appliances. They've clarified that stuff, that information.
Dan, previous, did I see something about attics?
Not required on uninhabitable attics.
Okay, okay. Can you just?
I don't think that's changed, Adrian.
Not required in is that what it said?
That's what it said.
Okay, all right.
Wouldn't be with temperature requirements with the detector too.
Here, all right. There's the fireworks.
Okay, carbon monoxide alarms. This is new, and this is going to be a shocker for our contractors in town. When you are repairing any existing fuel-fired mechanical systems, this will now trigger the requirements for carbon monoxide alarms to be either installed or to be, what's the words I'm looking for, you guys? To be
Confirmed existing.
yeah, confirmed that they're in place or needed to be installed. And so what we do with foundation repairs in our permits for foundation repairs right now, we require them to upgrade their carbon and smoke alarms. And we ask them to fill out a form like this that basically says that they agree to do that work. It's an acknowledgement form that the owner has to any work that they have done in their house, for foundation repair, they have to sign a form saying that they're going to upgrade that stuff and that they agree that a City of Lawrence, inspector is going to come out and, inspect the home for that, or, actually do a remote video inspection. And, then,
So when you're upgrading an alarm like this, because of something like that,
Yeah.
they're just like plug-in unit.
Interconnected.
And,
Oh, the carbon monoxide, yes, plug-in
and
units,
they don't have to be all interconnected. Right?
not with the CO, but with the smokes.
Yes.
Should they be just battery operated?
yeah.
And they just have to be somewhere on that level? I mean, that's gonna affect water heaters and everything, so. Water heater in a garage, they need a CO in the garage?
No, I think it's whole house, right?
Yeah. I don't know, I'm just trying to
They have to be
understand.
interconnected.
It's everywhere.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Well, and I thought it was kind of confusing too, because it says if you have a permit for
Well, let me go.
alterations, repair and additions, and then it says existing fuel fired. But then on your sheet, the letter,
Yeah. Well, that letter hasn't been upgraded yet,
this
so.
is exceptions, plumbing or mechanical system installation, alteration or repair.
That hasn't been updated.
Yeah, we haven't upgraded that letter yet. That's from our
Okay.
foundation repairs, so.
And if we can go back, because I didn't read it, I have trouble seeing it, but, so if you work on a furnace, like you're going to change the board or something on the furnace, you gotta upgrade your CO and all the locations that's required.
Mhm.
Okay, and does it specify working on the exact, I'm just using this as an example, Sarah came in, worked on my zoning dampers. Does that kick it off, or is just working on that equipment?
Any fuel fired equipment, yeah.
So
So,
we strongly suggest people have annual maintenance visits, which may require a new contactor or, a new capacitor for the motor, which would technically be not just maintenance, but repair. And that would trigger a whole house.
would that require a permit?
Well, it says any repairs. Repairs don't require permits, but it says.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That would require
It says
for it is.
installation, alteration, or repair.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it's triggering a permit, it's saying it's a repair.
Mm-hmm.
So every time somebody calls me for their $125 check, they're gonna end up with a $600 CO bill.
Right.
Well,
I'm just pulling this from the code, so.
remember collectively as a group, you have the ability to
Yeah.
talk about amending certain things out.
So I'm not to get in a long conversation. now.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of those, what does it really mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Janet identified these.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, yeah, we're not, we just, yeah,
Hey,
that's another one to highlight.
Yep.
Yep.
Related discussion.
The new
Yep.
are on sync.
And I'm gonna bring this up real quick. I don't know if you want to discuss the code that requires the upgrades on the smoke and detectors when you get building permits for repairs, alterations and so forth, because right now we're struggling significantly with foundation repair companies doing foundation work. And they can't follow the rules.
I don't have a problem with anything other than foundations, but I might have a problem with the maintenance on equipment.
Right.
Now, maybe swapping out a new furnace.
Yeah.
But to me, it makes more sense to require it in those situations than it does when we're talking about exterior foundation repair.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's something to think about.
You've got the rental inspections, which the rentals, we put a lot of CO and smoke detectors in for our property maintenance customers.
Right.
Because they're required, if they have an inspection, it's one of the things they check. So we go in for their yearly inspection and we check and replace extinguishers, smoke detectors and CO detectors as needed.
Now just to expand it real quick, because you guys will look at the property maintenance code as well. A separate group is doing that. We're not bringing it to you we've done a lot of work on that in 2017 for the 18. There might be some 10 or less changes for you guys to review. So that'll be brought to you towards later this year. Currently under that code, we are not requiring, if we go in on a rental inspection or tenant complaint, we're not requiring interconnectivity. We're requiring just
that they're there.
that they're there, the locations are there. But if something in here, that just made a light bulb go off in my head, we might have to
Is
See
it
where-
interconnected here? It has to go backwards.
see where I'm going with that. So that might be a discussion we need to have as well, so.
Well, this is, everybody knows that the statistics behind smoke detectors and deaths and fires and all that stuff. This is one of those deals where, instead of like sleeping windows, I mean, you shouldn't have people sleeping in rooms without egress windows. This is one opportunity where it's so important, you need to bring it up to code, and this is the opportunity to bring your buildings up to code with remodels and that sort of thing. But do we want to go all the way down to changing out a board on a furnace? So that's something.
I would say Adrian does not want to pay for that right now.
I'm grandfathered in now.
We're on the residential, but we get into the commercial.
Have you got the bill yet?
I haven't got the bill yet.
So you may not be as happy as you think you are.
Go ahead.
My smoke detectors, I took plan.
Okay, sleeping lofts have now been introduced and basically in 2024 and a definition of sleeping lofts, but they're basically only limited to tiny homes. And here it says where they're allowed and they're a portion of a story and they're less than 70 square feet and ceiling height is 7 feet or more. And et cetera, et cetera. So that's added. Garages now, EV charging stations and automotive lifts are added to the IRC, and that's introduced in this section. And basically, it goes on to talk about them, and we'll in a minute show you some more information about how they're protected as well in the garage.
So Janet, what is this the requirements for EV charge station, or are they saying they're required?
Well, it says EV chargers are added to the IRC to address installation of the equipment, okay? And it says, as new requirements for them must be installed per this.
I don't believe they're required.
Allow-
No, there are requirements to install.
Okay, all right.
And it also points out that you cannot put lifts in habitable spaces. I love that part.
Yeah, but what?
You can't put the lifts in the habitable spaces. You can't put it in your living room.
I've been in houses in Kansas City that they have cars inside.
Yeah, I love it. It just correct. Yeah. Okay. Next, accessibility has been updated to for care facilities that are in homes. That says that the part of the business that is the care facility has to be fully accessible, which I think is fantastic. I'm glad they've added that. Storm shelters, they've gone on to say that it must be sealed, drawings must be provided to me that are prepared and sealed by a registered design professional. Hello. And I'm so glad to see that I've had.
It meets the criteria of the ICC.
Or the design meets criteria.
They have to have a,
Yes, I was going to get to that.
they have to have a certification.
Right. I have had several battles with people that have submitted drawings to me that do not meet either and had to deny them, so. And said that you can only call that a closet. So, all right, here we go. This is where we talk about those EV charging stations or the energy storage systems and where they can be located in the garage and how they are protected by either concrete bollards or curb stops and the distance to where they're located in the garages and the bollards are located, or the curb stops and how much protection area you have to have around those storage systems and clearances to the opening of garage doors, car doors, etc. I'm sorry, talking too fast here. And it's a nice little diagram, which is actually in the code book. So, yeah.
Significant changes this adds is based on the mechanical, section 1307.3.1 for to share information for impacting mechanical appliances.
This is a modification. They are now calling a habitable attic a story, which is fantastic. And they also identify when a habitable attic is not a story. It's either when, let's see, the aggregate area is not greater than 1/3 of the floor area of the story below, or not greater than 1/2 of the floor area of the story below where the is located with sprinkler system. It has to meet all these conditions. Or the occupiable space is enclosed by the roof assembly above with knee walls. If you guys can read that, I'm just need some water here, so. Otherwise, it has to be sprinkled. So this is a nice little code section that they've added in here. Of course, when it becomes a 3rd or 4th story, then this gets triggered into being under the IBC. That's good. And the means of egress obviously needs to be met, as it can't be, pull down stair. It can't be, ship's ladder. There can't be any of those cute little means of egress. Are we close to being done?
No, halfway. The reason I was gonna say is we're an hour in. Does anyone want to take a 5-minute break, restroom break, water break,
Yeah,
anything like that?
13.
If not, we'll continue. I'm just offering that up.
I would like to take a quick break to get a little more water.
Okay, we'll take a quick break for
Okay.
Janet. Okay, we're good to go.
And then the PowerPoint here.
Wow.
Yep. Okay, we'll start back up.
Okay, so we're done with part 2, building planning. And again, like I said, the parts that are in bold are what we went over. And there's quite a few parts we didn't go over, but they're really minor in what they talk about. It's real minor details. So again, I didn't feel like they're important enough to bring up here, but if you see something that you feel you might be interested in, please look it up on your own.
Okay.
And see if it's something that we should bring to the table and talk about. And
Basically, our task was trying to identify things among the group of city staff and our division of what we thought would be things that you guys would want to know about.
The significant
Significant,
changes.
that doesn't necessarily impact
yeah,
either cost or life safety or something like that.
Okay, so this will be, is this gonna be online, available to everybody, the public and us?
Well, it's on the agenda.
It's in the agenda pack.
You click on it, just-
Okay, all right.
You can get it.
So I'm definitely in the photovoltaic, and so.
okay. Part 3, building construction. We go on to next. This is a concrete stem walls. They're saying now that any stem walls that are supporting more than 4 feet of backfill must now be laterally supported at their base with a concrete slab. So these crawl spaces that are more than 4 feet from here to here will now need a concrete slab.
Or be designed as a retaining wall.
Or be designed as a retaining wall.
Or, could you surely there's ways to do it other than pouring a slab in it.
Does it say a slab?
Can you put
Yeah, it says
admin in
a
there and
slab.
things like that?
Typically, you
Yeah, you
just
could, I think you
feel
could, man, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Footing and reinforcement to the connection between the wall and the footing.
Yeah, I think there are ways to get around this, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You could also add soil on the crawl space side too. That would help.
Yeah.
But if it's outside the scope, I mean, if you come up with another engineering solution, then you have to stamp that. Yeah, okay.
Guard post attachments to floor framing, they've come up with a bunch of information here, as you'll see. And I think that's fantastic, and I will be able to cite that to quite a few deck framers in our community that need this information. This is really, really nice set of information here, so glad to see this.
And these are in the code, actually.
This is in the code with these pictures, yeah.
But this doesn't just
Sorry.
apply, this applies to interior as well.
Interior and
And deck.
exterior.
I didn't even, when I first read this, the thought of a deck never even crossed,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's decks too.
Mhm. Deck design loads, this is new. It started in 2021. Deck design is now based on live and snow loads, whichever is greater. City of Lawrence deck live load is 40, their ground snow load is 20. So we will now use the deck design load of 40 PSF.
And real quick, it's important to know, I think we've been doing this consistently on all of our slide presentations, but I want to make the highlight that remember, we're skipping 21. We're not going over the 21 changes. So when you see that change type at the top modification, that means it came effective in 2021. It's just a carryover into 24. So if you don't see that 21, I think we've identified
Yeah.
it being new for 24. Just keep that in
Yeah.
mind. If you go home and pull these slides up, that's what that means.
Yeah. And then this is something that I picked up on too, that, under the IBC, the minimum deck loads will be 1.5 times the associated room live load per the 2021 IBC. So like if you're building a deck off a sleeping room, it's 1.5 times the sleeping room is a 30 PSF design load. Whereas all other rooms are 40 PSF. So you would have a different design load for that area, for that, that deck that is done. So just wanted to point that out.
So if it's 100 PSF, it's gonna go to 150.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think 100 might be the max.
Well, if there's a hot tub on design for that deck, there's a whole nother design load for it, so.
If you want to land a helicopter.
Yeah, right. Deck posts now have a table of their own, which is really nice, and it really allows for, I'm very surprised at what a 4x4 post
Can hold.
The height of a 4x4 post and what it can hold. This is the table for it. And it shows that it's based on your tributary areas. And so you know what your tributary area is. And then you can sit there and say, I want to use a 4x4 post. And then you can sit there and determine how much height that post will go.
That's in the code now. That's
And it's in the code. That's nice to have. Yeah.
Before or after it warps to a 100-foot radius.
Then deck beams are now based on the beam span. That beam span is updated by adding options to deck joists and cantilevers. New tables are provided. Let's see, it's actually based on the actual beam span at the end. So it's based on this beam span here. Oops, sorry. Not the beam span across the entire width of the deck. It's the beam span at the end of the deck. See if I can explain that a little bit better as we go next to the next area here. So, when you're saying that you want to span your joist, and your joist is now your joist span is from the ledger, this point of the ledger, to this point of the beam. So right there, that's your joist span, is what they're saying here. And then your cantilever is from here to the end of the ridge beam or the rim board. That's your cantilever span, is what they're saying here now.
Is this right, Janet? The max
Mhm.
cantilever is a
Mhm.
quarter of this.
Mhm. So you want to span say your joist span is 14 feet. So you can go 14 feet and plus you want to cantilever 1 foot. Then your beam span say you're going to use two 2x6s, you can span 5'4". You guys catching that? Two 2x6s. Your beam span can go 5'4" per beam. Let's go back to the other thing. So your beam span is 5'4" between posts. Did you guys catch that? So it's kind of a complicated or kind of a crazy little chart, but once you figure it out, then it's very useful. And there's lots of charts.
Putting me out of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. Putting me out of work is right.
No structure.
Yeah.
We got a chart.
And then in the 2024, they say that all beams have to bear on the post now. You can't have any outside of the post. They all have to bear on the post. All applies. Post or wall.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a big,
Shear connections.
that's a big change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This slide, I think I have to pull out because I think it's incorrect. And I will update that later. So I'm not even going to show it to you right now. Okay. Next slide, deck joists are now, this is kind of a helpful little chart. And it shows deck joists and the maximum cantilevers. This is going to put you out of work too a little bit. It goes on to show you how you can do your joist spacing and then your maximum cantilevers. So it's a tricky little chart too, but as long as you follow everything here and look at everything very carefully, you can do your designs for that too. So decking, they've updated this so that you have maximum joist space for decking with multiple spans and single spans. They've gone from it used to be just single spans and now they're using multiple spans. So that's nice to have as well. This one, I'll tell you, flashing for me, it just goes over my head. Because there's flashing is so difficult to do well. But this is a new flashing detail that they're showing, and it's Lee Queen was just blown away by this drawing and what it means, and he said, "Yeah, I guess we're going to have to take out quite a bit of sheathing to get this flashing to work, but that's the new requirement." Building a deck on an existing building, so. Brace wall, location of brace wall lines, they're now saying that you can do these offsets, but 2/3, no more than 2/3 of the required brace wall panel length is located to one side of that brace wall line. So if this is your brace wall line, only 2/3 of it can be on one side of that brace wall line.
What's funny about this is that you actually pull out your code book, there's a picture and they're violating the rule in their picture.
I know, I caught that. I already caught that, yeah. That's why I use this drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wall heights, terminology's been clearly defined and updated in the bracing tables with a new figure added for clarity. Whatever, it's again, this is one of these things that they go over they change every year or every code cycle. But the wall height on first story is from the bottom of the plate to the top of the top plate. And then the story height is to the top of the floor. And then at the next level, it's, bottom plate to the top of the top plate. And that's also the story height. So whatever. It's just like, okay, guys, whatever. Addition here is about garage doors now have permanent label that identifies the wind pressures, but it also identifies the insulation values, which is going to be important when we go and look at the energy codes. And this is key. This is cool. I'm glad they're doing this. This is very important when we look at the energy codes together. This will be required.
Why would a garage door affect the energy code?
A lot of people are using garage doors on their designs.
Inhabitable spaces.
Inhabitable spaces.
Not just like deck openings or interior.
Conference rooms.
Yeah. Yeah. Soffits are now, there's now added requirements for soffit materials and how they're installed, which is a good thing. And it covers all types of soffit materials. So that's nice that they've added that. They've also added this material and how it's installed. Roof replacement, they're talking about self-adhering underlayment may be left on when re-roofing if the underlayment meets certain requirements, and they break down what those requirements are, which is good to have. And this is just something I threw in. This is not in the code. This is just, I gave this to the contractors to understand where we stand on roof replacement and what the meanings are and when permits are required for it or are not required for it and when they are required for it. And that ice barrier underlayment is not required as amended in the city code right now. And I believe, let's see, again, part 3 we're done with. And these are the things we did not talk about. So you can study them at your leisure if you want to before our next meeting. Vapor retardants, they changed to a 10 mil from 6 mil to 10 mil, and then they went back to 6 mil because in 2021 they went to 10 mil and everybody had a fit about it. So they went back to 6 mil. That was funny. Again, these are such minor changes that just didn't feel that they were necessary for us to go over. But if you disagree with me, great. I would love to hear about it. So please bring it up to me. And that was the end of it.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. So my proposal is that please look through this stuff and let's come up with an agenda for our next meeting so we can talk about amendments. I'll bring back to you the amendments that I know we need to change, like, the design criteria. And I'll do some further investigation about our townhouse 2-family stuff. And then the fuel filter repair, maybe we can reword that and, decide if we want to bring that in as an amendment or look at it and rewrite it, etc. But I think that's what I propose as our discussion for the next meeting.
Do you know when CO detectors were brought into the code being required on a new construction?
When they were brought in?
Like how old of a house, if we're going in to replace a water heater in a 20-year-old house, So a good chance CO detectors are in there, or where did this, do we know where this?
If the occupants put them in at that point, but they're really only good for like 10 years if they're battery operated. It's not so much it's the battery, it's the sensor.
Mine are wired and say 10 years.
Yeah.
It's,
Because I had a battery go bad and the other night and I pulled it down. I was pissed. And I looked at it the next day and I need to replace the thing. It's 12 years old.
Yeah.
And most of the new ones people are putting in now they have a 10-year battery.
That's what I'm buying.
Yeah, those are
I'm not gonna do that every year.
Yeah, that way, it'll last 10 years anyway.
Battery goes out, get rid of the thing.
so it might be interesting if that's part of Warren, that's part of fire. And it's gonna come up in a fire chapter later. That might be interesting to get ahead of it instead of discuss it twice.
Yeah, I was supposed to meet with them yesterday. That we didn't get the chance to meet. But yeah, that's interesting because on the commercial side, the COs are 7-year filaments. But the smokes are 10. So that's
Yeah.
really weird. So yeah, I'll find out.
So yeah, if we
It's a
we have-
weird deal.
could have both discussions at once. And then the rental,
Yeah, the whole rental, the whole repair issue with the COs. That's a big thing. That's hard. That's going to be hard for everybody involved on that, really. So,
but if we could look at them all at the same time.
Mhm.
And if we don't get all the information for that specific thing together in 2 weeks, we just put it for another 2 weeks.
Oh,
So we're not spinning our wheels.
Absolutely.
right.
Warren, Jen's presentation was great. Is there somebody from fire that's gonna do something similar to that?
I believe Chris is.
I am not in charge of King.
Well,
want to be.
he goes.
I've been trying for a year.
I said, "You're gonna deal with this, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit right there and take notes while you're doing the presentation."
You are, yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'll be sure that he has seen that and he can use that as a template.
and I'll,
Jason and Jason. Yeah.
because it really needs to be addressed kind of from both sides, because it's something it's synonymously we're gonna have on commercial, residential.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. You know. I was like,
I sat down to Kevin.
so, yeah.
Yeah, as you can imagine, it's exhausting. We have 2 codes to
Yeah.
go through and see all the changes, you know?
I've learned a lot. There's been some times, we've been meeting on fire code for quite a while now, and there's a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't like his job, but I know a lot of people don't like when they're there at the same time, but there's a lot. And so,
I would like to take a few minutes. I have or at least one miscellaneous thing I just want to bring to the board's attention on the code adoption. And I'm specifically bringing it up to try to jar your memory.
Okay.
Okay, so the city recodified the code late spring of last year, and all of the articles changed numbers because of various things. We used to have Article 1 that had administration, occupancy, building permit fees, all that. It's been broken down to, if you look online now, it's Articles 1 through 4. Those are all the regulations for all the codes, administration, appeals, notices, all that. We've always done one of those for all the code books, Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall that's been since the ICC adoptions in 2006?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because with the skipping of the 21 and all the new additions in the energy code and stuff, we have 2 ways to go. We either amend every administration section of each code, which I think could be done, or we carry on the way we've done it before. I've wavered. I talked to the city attorney's office. They're like, Brian, you do whatever which either way works. I'm just bringing it to you guys to know that I think I'm going to go to the way it's been done since 2006 with the 2006 adoption, and just do one Article 1, 2, 3, and 4 that will cover every administration section of each code.
So why is there four? 1, 2, 3?
They busted it out,
Can you
Adrian,
can
here.
you show, see,
The problem
So it used to
is,
just be Article 1.
problem is in the code book, it's scope and administration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, the administration is the same,
Yeah,
but the scope is
scope is
different for
different.
every
every single one. That's what we're gonna
so what we have to do is if we do one, we have to go through each book and make sure we're not missing something under the scope and plugging it into,
Or an overall admin.
it's usually Article 2.
So Adrian, this just quick, because this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to us either. A decision was made to break out admin to 4 separate articles.
Well, I'll tell you, remember we had the weird hyphen, comma, hyphen sections that changed? That was one of the reasons. There's no other city code in the city that had that weird sequencing of numbering. Instead of going 5-104, it then went 5- something, comma, another number. Remember how it got screwy?
Right.
So this was not our decision. They hired a consultant that did this, and that's how they broke it up. That's how,
It's because they didn't understand.
that's why the building code is not 2 and so forth. But
What I don't, the scope is right after general, right? In the codes. Well, we themselves. So why couldn't you have general and then have scope subset under that that describes each code?
well, the key is to incorporate it's hard to describe. I'm trying to do my best.
You have to have a different scope for each.
Well, a lot
Code.
here. Let me give you an example. I'll do a real life example here. Janet, will you give me the
The
18?
way it's written right now, the scope of the IRC include, the way it's written, it's 1 and 2 family dwellings, that's it.
Right.
Well, that's wrong, obviously.
Like here's an example. Inspections, notice and orders, right of entry, department records, liability. Those are pretty much all uniform through each code. But there might be some code sections in the energy code that are specifically only to the energy code that we'll have to add
to our overall
to our
admin
to our
section,
overall
right?
admin section.
And there are.
And there are.
Correct.
So there's 2 ways of doing it. There's having each admin stand alone and amending each admin over
Have a
10,
general admin section.
or we have a general.
Which is what we have
And
now.
that's what we have now. I'm just letting you know, I talked to Randy Larkin and he's like, Brian, you take the lead and do whatever you want. Either way works for me. We've always done it the first way since the code adoption. We've had one general, well, it wasn't called general, we had one administration section for every code that we have adopted. It's getting a little bit more difficult to do that because as the codes expand and progress over time, they add more stuff to those sections. So we just have to do our due diligence to make sure we put everything in this code that covers every code that we adopt. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that does kind of make sense. And then it should be for simplicity. I mean, nobody's.
The easiest way to do it from simplicity for you guys, for the contractor community, is do one and make sure we get everything in each code in there so we aren't missing something.
Yeah.
That opens us up to error, right? Because,
I'm not so sure,
well, that's why I'm bringing it up.
because, I mean, I've looked at the way other municipalities do it, and they keep the separate administration
Do they?
in each one. But you got to remember, the only thing you're documenting are the amendments to it.
That's true.
So that can be a very small amount. Whereas if you're changing it all
The other way.
and creating a whole new deal and then putting in all new scopes, and it's all new.
We've had meetings between Janet, Kimberly, and Matt and I, and we've all went back and we've changed our opinion in the same meeting. Like I was convinced to do it this way.
Yeah.
And then I go, no, we need to do this way. That's a great opinion. It might be less.
The way to do it, I think, would be to look at one of the codes and go look at OP's code.
Yeah.
You know,
We've
see what they do.
We've done it this way for 20 years. And I'm not, just because we've done it that way doesn't mean it's the best way, right? But that's a good rebuttal to my point. It could be less work. I was hoping I'd get more solid directions.
Well, I could say,
It works both ways, Brian. Well, I know it will.
Well, Brian, I can tell you this, and 25 years of doing that, I have never had anybody question
Mhm.
the scope of the plumbing code or say, no, it says this in the administrative section. I mean, it's a whole big old argument.
Right.
How much,
My worry, not my worry, one concern to rebut Neil is if something happens in the plumbing, the IRC you have to go to that administration section and make sure you're doing what that code says. Something may be a little different. I don't know. It's a big task either way.
There have been many times I wish I could pull things out of here
Right.
that I have to use this, and it's.
Okay, see, I'm
very
already changing my mind.
frustrating, So.
I'm surprised you were on the other side of the fence when you started, because we were on kind of Neil's end of it.
All four of us have flipped
Maybe-
sides
Yeah, we
multiple
do. We
times.
flip back and forth all the time, so.
So to Neil's point, I mean, we're not amending the other sections of those codes.
There may be something you amend. Neil's probably most likely correct. Those amendments will be
Minuscule.
minuscule.
Or if we want admin general, if we want sections to kind of adhere to all code books, that will remain in Articles 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's just very short, right? Because we're leaving the admin and scopes in each code
Well, the
book
building
instead
code
of
board.
plugging it all into
I
one.
think what we found out through our review is that we've missed some stuff that should be there. It's never come up
Right,
to
right.
bite us, so to speak. But if you do it the way we've done it,
It's a mess.
Yeah.
it's a mess. Okay. What do you think?
Jenna and Timberly say, hey, I'd love to point to this IRC or IBC
Yeah.
portion of something. But we scrapped it, which is this big one. Yeah.
What makes it easiest for you and people in the field both, instead of having to look at some other third document?
Well, it was a light bulb, right? I took the lead on doing these 1 through 4s. It used to be just one, and then I started looking at the discussion and going,
What's exempt? That different.
Right, yeah.
okay, I think
We'll keep talking.
But one more thing, because of the specialized contractors, as just a mechanical contractor, I wouldn't look at IRC a lot. I mean, I
Right.
don't know how to frame something, but I could read about it if I want to, or I can hire a framer.
Yeah.
So if you change the admin to just an overview, but it wasn't in my one book, because not everybody buys all the code books.
Exactly.
Or even the code books each year. So if it's not the admin and it's amended off that specific code book, I would never see it, or I wouldn't have access to it.
You're looking at the IMC, right? And you're like looking at admin and scope, and we've
All right.
amended that out and we're staying.
following you, Sir James, but so you're in favor of
Each
Each
individual
individual.
book.
each individual book?
Because her, for example, not to overgeneralize, she's only looking at IMC, right? And if she's an admin and IMC, we have
Right.
technically amended those out.
Right, and the only thing I could say is,
Now I'm switched.
all I say is, that's different stuff.
That reflects the same process as if you would have picked up the code book.
Right.
And it looks like
You're
that.
switched?
Yeah.
See, you see our dilemma.
This will be memorialized in meeting minutes.
I think
That'll be helpful.
we're going to probably go,
We should vote on.
I've switched my mind for like the third time. I think we're probably gonna go individual, is what I'm hearing from the board. That seems to make more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but some things like,
Now you're on board with that.
And I've
You
never
don't
seen another municipality.
know?
We're not a member
Right.
anymore.
I had.
Never
I
had.
had.
Thank God.
but some things like Board of Appeals.
Sure.
That's.
It's all the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think you can pick those things
You
out.
know what? I think what we'll do is we'll look at OP or Lenexa or somebody there. If anyone has interest, this is not rocket science. If anyone wants to look at 1 through 4 and get an idea and shoot an opinion to Matt and me, that'd be great. If not,
Can you just bring up some examples for next meeting?
yeah, we'll bring up some examples. Let's put 1 through 4 on. We won't go through one through 4. We'll just go up to some areas where we're showing you why I'm bringing it up. How's that sound? Strategy of writing it?
Documentation.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. I appreciate the input. I think now I'm leaning towards leaving each admin scope and each code.
You'll forget tomorrow.
That's right.
No, it's a good point.
I'll play this.
Well, you're used to doing something so long, that's my.
Oh, yeah, does any of the other board
Nobody-
members have comments on
Nobody
that?
from the public, but anybody else online?
Have a comment
Oh,
about the public?
Bobby's there. JJ, Laura, Sean are remote. Kimberly from our office, Denny.
Board members have any comment on what I just confused everyone about?
Brian, my only comment would be that I guess do a quick review, and if there's enough of them that have, say basically the same thing, then it validates to go to a single one. But if there's enough IMC and IRC have different stuff, then I think that answers the question that we have to do each one.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Laura, she took herself off mute.
I don't have any comments.
Miss Flory, Bobby, did you have any comments? Not just on that, but on the presentation at all? Knowing we're going to discuss this at length over the next 3 meetings as well.
This is Bobby. I have no comment. I'm sorry, I couldn't find my unmute button. I'm good.
That's okay, that's okay, that's okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Thanks, Bobby.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all I had on miscellaneous.
That's the end of our agenda, BST side.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, no
Oh,
other new business or
I move to adjourn.
Are you going over any times? We good with 2:00?
Oh, yeah, there was a question on the 2 o'clock versus 3
Yeah.
o'clock.
I
Everybody blamed it on you, by the way.
That's
I didn't even know.
appropriate. I'm glad you said that. 2 o'clock, I mean, unless people need to move it to 3, 2 o'clock.
Speak up, be vocal. If
Yeah.
3 o'clock works better, it's because it gives you more of your day back on the front end. We
Otherwise, it
understand.
just takes us till 5 anyways, so. If somebody feels.
This is
any other-
Sean.
Hey, Sean.
3 o'clock works better for me. This actually threw me for a loop, having it at 2 today.
I don't think I am of the opinion either way.
I
So
would
if
make,
anybody feels strongly,
I would make the suggestion, we go back to 3.
3.
Adrian's nodding yes on that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then quickly, sorry, I know we're past time. It was suggested to potentially entertain a larger space for these meetings. I think Timberly suggested there's a nice conference room at Firehouse 5, for example.
My only concern on that, and I don't disagree with exploring that idea, is that conference room out there gets very busy, and I don't know if we could lock it up as easily as locking this one up for.
In terms of, yeah,
Well-
logistics aside, I mean, we're down 1, 2, 3. There's 3 board members remote,
And
let alone anybody from the public. And
What else do you have on site?
here, this is the biggest one. Outside of.
oh, the
CML, I
other
guess.
conference room fits 6 of us. That's it. It's right on the other side of the
that,
wall.
yeah.
This is it. I mean,
We would have to go offsite for
I mean,
something larger.
you know, we're probably not going to get a lot of in-person public attendance. If we're talking about Station 5 at 19th and I, McSwain Room,
It's a great meeting.
Mhm.
that's the big one, right? I mean, it's huge. It's 7, 8 times as big as this. We could do some explore. I mean, if you want to consider it, I'm not opposed to it. We could explore it.
Yeah.
And see the availability is key, right?
You guys are traveling anyways.
Especially as we get closer to the fire code and we want the fire code more interacted, even on a lot of this stuff, they're going to be more likely to be
Yeah.
there.
If we had a bigger one on site, we would book it, is kind of my point. So
Yeah, if anyone that was at our old office, we had one that was
Okay.
1.5 sizes of this. It was perfect. Okay, well, let's look into that and then get the meeting moved back to 3. That works better. I saw a lot of heads shaking yes on that. Sean said yes. Then we'll look at an alternate site.
Why don't we just book it when we can, and if we can't get it,
Well, that's.
Potentially,
yeah.
yeah, that might be.
I mean, it's real easy for us to book this. We have access. We can look at it. I don't know the process of if we can get access to the inner email. Okay. Great. Thanks, everyone. Mike Myers, welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Hope we didn't scare you off with this meeting.
like we're on the same side now.
Well, let me tell you from experience, you never know if you're on the same side of danger. Oh,
We have a second?
Yeah, I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone online?
I,
Thank you.
Thanks.
all right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.